obviously any video game with blood and gore, drug references, which is the main draw for me, intense violence, strong language.
That's it for me.
Such as frick or gosh dang
Hey,
it.
stop.
Suggestive themes and a use of alcohol is something we're going to be into. One of the biggest failures of Fallout 76 in terms of being player friendly is that a lot of items are just in the shop.
Well, and that, and also I miss so many of the seasons.
And that's another frustrating thing, is that people wanting to jump in, there's a lot of stuff that's just gone.
Yeah.
And I really hate that in games.
Like, for example, the pit season, I missed it.
Mm-hmm.
I had wanted to play that, but I never got around to it. That's my big problem with Fallout 76, is I feel like you have to be playing it all the time, or else you miss stuff.
Or you have to be willing to pay money to advance the battle pass, which
that too.
It doesn't feel worth it.
I don't have time to be constantly on Fallout 76. I have so many other games I'm playing. Like, I feel like I should be able to go on in 2 years from now and play Nuka World content.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's why I think this game deserves an offline patch at some point.
Yes.
Because it is very frustrating that you will not be able to experience all the story content that is canon to Fallout. It's just canon to the entire world.
Yeah.
In 15 years.
Right.
You know, if the game's shut down, you just won't be able to play that. And I think that's kind of dumb. And I know the idea essentially from some people is, well, people have Let's Played it. It's going to be there. It's like, yes. And look, trust me, we have a Let's Play channel. Check it out in the description below. Degenerate Plays. We play through a lot of stuff. But you have to know that a Let's Play is a different experience than you playing.
Right.
It's fundamentally a different way to experience a game. So it's frustrating to me that the way for you to experience it by you holding the controller and doing it is potentially going to be gone at some point. And same with something like Nuka World. Like, if you introduce this, it all looks cool. The arcade, the tents, the fairgrounds, the enemies, everything to me looks cool, and the cosmetics.
Bottle Cappy.
Yeah.
I like them.
It's all fun, and I think that a big part of Nuka World is branding.
Yeah.
You know, because like the Nuka brand and the Sunset Sarsaparilla brand and Robco and some of those different brands in Fallout, they are attractions to people who enjoy the universe. But if you're dropping them in and then pulling them out, that's kind of where I have a problem with it. And like you said, it kind of goes down to just the way the game is designed. I think as much as I enjoy Fallout 76, makes it an inferior experience to other Fallout games in the sense that it won't be around forever.
Yeah. And that's too bad.
Yeah.
To me.
I have a love-hate relationship with this game. Just about how fun it can be. How fun it can be to drop into a Fallout world with friends, play around, go on quests, build bases, do stuff like that. But the game is so reliant on purchasing some of the cool stuff. It's so reliant on being online on this season, that season, or the other season, or just not getting that stuff. And the game finds ways to kind of rub it in your face that you didn't get that stuff. Because anytime you visit another player's settlement, they have all that stuff displayed.
Yeah.
And so you're just kind of sitting there like, so like for you, wow, I missed 10 seasons worth of content.
Right.
That I'm never getting.
Right.
Okay, well, I guess
like,
I don't
cool.
really feel motivated to play.
That's exactly how I feel about it.
Yeah.
Because now if I log on to the game, which I do every now and then, I'm kind of like, oh, okay, well, I missed all this stuff.
Well, that's the frustrating thing is you feel like you're getting an inferior experience compared to what other people got.
Yeah.
And that doesn't really incentivize people to play games. I wish that they would find a happy middle ground between introducing new content to this game, but at some point preserving it for the future and preserving the game for offline players.
Well, personally, and this is a dream experience for me. I know this will never happen. In maybe 5 or 6 years from now, whenever they decide to just completely be done with the updates on this game and the seasons, they should release a single-player Fallout 76 disc with all the content on it. All the seasonal content is on the game, and it's single player. So then you can actually go. You're like giving me a really. I know this is a pipe dream. This will never happen here, but this would be cool. Like, just release a disc with all the seasonal content on it. That way we can have it forever.
Thomas Bethesda is really mad at that idea. He's like fuming in his office right now. Someone kill this man. No, I agree completely. I mean, that's what I think a lot of people wanted out of Fallout 76 is not, hey, I'm not willing to play the game. It's, hey, I'm not really super excited for a game that's always online, that I have to be online to play, that will not be preserved for the future like every other Fallout game has been.
Yeah.
That is canon and will become unplayable at some point. that I need to buy hundreds of dollars worth of atoms to get the cool stuff. And there are suckers like me who are willing to buy stuff in the game and play it, partially because I make Fallout content sometimes, you know, and do stuff like that. But honestly, even though it's your money, I would advocate that the amount of money stuff costs in Fallout 76 is not really financially worth it.
No.
Like, when you think about it, and I can say, hey, look, I can go buy a $35 pack of atoms and get a bunch of cool stuff in Fallout 76 to put in my world in the always online only game that will eventually shut down for the 50th time. Or I could go buy God of War 2018 for $20, basically new, and then buy another game on top of it.
Right. It's like I'd rather just buy 2 games that I could play forever. Right,
and that's I think the core problem with Fallout 76, because we would have no problem with the multiplayer if it was an optional thing.
Right.
As long as you could play it offline and the content was on disc, fine. But for this game in particular, the disc is a glorified key. Because most of this content, most of these patches, most of everything that's made the game worth playing post-launch is patches. It's updates.
Yep.
It's not on disc, and even if it was, you couldn't play it.
I had a lot of hope for this game when it first came out, and I still like the game. Like, I enjoy the game.
Right.
But there is that whole aspect of me just being discouraged that it's like, oh, I missed out on this season. Oh, I missed out on that season. Okay, well now if I plug in this game, let's say I wait 2 months and play it, I'm going to miss out on the pit completely. Like, it's just gone. Yes, there might be that one mission you can do, like you told me about, but
all the unlocks
content,
and
all the unlocks, everything gone. And I probably won't ever get that again.
Well, and I think that people's response to that complaint is usually very lacking of empathy. Because I've seen a lot of the responses that are, well, why didn't you play it earlier? And a lot of people couldn't afford the console when it first launched.
Yep.
A lot of other people didn't want to play it on the Xbox One or PS4 because it didn't run well.
Yeah.
It really only runs well now. I mean, if we're being really just intellectually not disingenuous about the game. Like, it did not run well at launch, and it was so bare bones and kind of crappy. And now, you know, you have a set built-in player base, which is awesome. And I'm very happy people enjoy the game. I have put in, I don't know, probably 100 hours into the game, something like that, with Jill, my wife. You know, we play the game together off and on in different seasons.
Yeah.
But I do think that even for me, there's a lot of times where I'm just like, I could play this, or I could play some game where I feel like my progress matters more.
Yeah. Right, yeah. Well, and that's kind of my other thing I have against that statement of why didn't you play this earlier is my beef I have with people in general that only play new stuff. Is, to me, like, look, for example, right now as we speak, I am currently playing the original Xenoblade Chronicles on the Switch.
No, you don't get to play that. That's more than a year old.
I know. It's like, and it's like, look, I'm having fun on this game. I don't have time with my job and playing through Xenoblade Chronicles on the Switch, and Pokemon Scarlet, too. By the way, I'm playing through both of those. I don't have time with my job, combined with playing those two, to be like, I gotta play Fallout 76 all the time. And that's not even including all the other games that everyone expects you to play all the time. And, like, that's my beef with Fallout 76, is I feel like if Fallout 76 was only a single-player experience, it would be one of those games where it's like, I'll get to that when I get to it. And then when I get to it, I'll have a great time.
Well, and I think to add credibility to your argument, it would be pretty hard for someone to argue that these games don't usually improve over time anyway.
Well, yeah.
So when they do that, right, why should I play it at launch?
Right. I'd rather play it with a better experience later on.
So here's the question. You're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Right.
Do you play a game like Fallout 76 early on when it has more problems and unlock all the seasonal content over time? Or do you wait until the game runs well, but you missed out on all that content? So it's almost like you have to slog through a lot of it to get things, almost like a job or a lifestyle. And I think this kind of goes into our complaint with games as a service anyway, is that you're expected to play Call of Duty or Battlefield or Halo or Fallout or Fortnite as a lifestyle or Apex as a lifestyle. And you know what you're not expected to do? Play more than maybe 2 of those.
Right.
Total. because you're just not going to make progress.
Mm-hmm.
And that's ignoring MMOs, that's ignoring single-player games, that's ignoring one of probably 12 dozen other, games as a service games that also focus on battle passes that I didn't think of.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's not good. It's not a good way to keep people, it's a good way to keep your player base engaged who's into it, but there are a lot of completionist types, I think, like us, that just, I don't know, you kind of alienate by that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you do. And it makes me, in the Fallout world, it makes me just rather go play Fallout 4.
Yeah.
Or go play Fallout 3 or New Vegas. Very fun games.
Yeah.
What were they, 15 years old, the New Vegas and 3 now?
Yeah.
Still really fun. Still really fun.
And yet it seems like the corporate attitude is, let's punish you for not playing the new thing, because if you ever do get to it, you missed out.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you missed out on canon story.
Right.
So if you really do care about the universe, that kind of seems to be their argument, is if you really do care about the universe, you will play it.
Yeah.
But it's like, well, I can also care about the universe and have a job.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I don't know.
Well, yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah. Every time I talk about this game, it's like, hey, there's these 3 cool things and these 12 uncool things that piss me off.
And I'm so annoyed that it's going to be gone in a while.
And this is one of my favorite.
It's cool.
This is one of my favorite multiplayer games.
Yeah, it's fun.
Playing this with Jill is some of the most fun I've had playing multiplayer.
Yeah.
But then to basically at some point know it will be gone.
Yeah.
And like all you'll have left of it is, hey, remember when we played that game?
That's frustrating.
That is frustrating.
Yeah.
Because it feels like that is just an acceptable attitude now in gaming. Mm-hmm. I don't know when it became acceptable. And now players are even so conditioned to having it rammed up their ass that even they're willing to accept it.
Yeah.
And willing to like fall on the sword for these companies and be like, it's not that type of game. It's an experience. And it's like, well, what do you work for, Bethesda? Like, it's not. It's a video game. Right. It's meant to be fun.
Right.
And I think that, when you start adding in some of those elements that long-term hamper what your game is capable of and its lasting legacy, that removes some of the fun for you and me.
Right.
So, I don't know. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. This game still has fundamental design problems that it seems like there's really no need to address. I know that recently Bethesda had actually said they plan to support this game for at least 5 more years of new content. So,
wow.
Because of that, and I think a good part of that is that Fallout 5 is so far off.
Yeah.
And so are any of the spin-off games that now Microsoft is talking about making with, Obsidian or these other developers, because they're in drawing board stages now. Mm-hmm. I think it's a situation where with Skyrim, I don't think they were ever able to fully capitalize on Elder Scrolls Online. Yes, it has a bunch of players, right? Mm-hmm. But I would argue there's way more people who played Elder Scrolls 5 and never bothered with online than there are people who played Fallout 4 and actually went to 76. I think 76 did a good job of at least getting people to try it. Yeah. And so because of that, they're trying to use 76 as a hype machine to keep interest in Fallout alive, because it takes Bethesda forever to release a game, That's kind of my thing with it. So I feel like Fallout 76 is almost just like a glorified promotional tool for the next Fallout game. Whereas Elder Scrolls Online is not a bad game, but it's more like its own niche, separate thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at with it. Like, game is fun, but it pisses me off. So let us know what you think in the comments down below. Please be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this. There are a lot of Let's Plays going on over on Degenerate Plays. Off the top of my head right now, Silent Hill, Elden Ring in the process of. We're starting Assassin's Creed Brotherhood soon. Trying to finish up one game before that, but Monster High is happening over there too right now. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. Have a fantastic day, and as always, everyone, stay shui.